How's it going right there, eh? It's Denis here from Denis Outdoors. Just gonna do a rabbitry / garden tour update. Just come down here and checked. I just see one of the little ones are out. Let me try to grab a hold of that. Come on, Mom. There. Yeah, so I was saying in another video, this is a new mom. She had six of these brown ones. They're all identical in color. So it's a little over 10 days. It's probably 11 or 12 days now. I tried doing this video a couple times, but their eyes were open around 9-10 days. All their eyes, really good shape. They're getting big. She's doing a good job. So she must have been nursing, and that little one fell out or jumped out. They're really springy and bouncy right now. So a shot of the little ones. Yeah, so she's a good mom. She's doing well. She, like I said, she just had 6 the first time. She was bred with this big guy. That's why they're all brown. And this one here, she's the mom of the other 6 that are in the grow out tractor cage there. I'll show you here in a second. So I'll head that way. And this one here was bred around May 26th and May 30th. So we'll see around June 26th or 30th. So see if she has another patch. Okay, here, stand by. So here's part of my back to Eden garden. This is outside of the fence, and right now you can see I got some potatoes planted here. They're all starting to shoot up. So probably from about here over was an older bed. I think I had potatoes in there last year, and actually that fence was in further, so this was an outside of the fence section. From here over, this is all new wood chips. In this case here, I just put the potatoes right on top of the grass, and all I did was just dump the wood chips on top and bury them. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I weeded this whole area. Usually I'll put down some paper down first. I got some of that big brown construction paper, rolls of it. I didn't do it this time. I didn't have time. But the potatoes are all starting to come up. They're all shooting up. Another there. So I'll go through here and weed this a couple of times. This is the issue that I'm having there, dark spot. So the chickens are running around and they're coming in here and scratching. So I've been trying to keep them out of this area somewhat. I was going to fence this off, but I decided not to. I'm hoping that once the potatoes get high enough, then they won't bother, or they won't hurt them, I guess, or hurt the potatoes. Anyhow, that's the plan. Anyhow, I'm going to head in here to show you the garden. I have to try to keep the door closed because the chickens will get in here. So a lot of my transplanted stuff isn't doing the greatest. I got some cucumbers getting some slug damage, and we had a couple of frosts, so that didn't help. So I'm hoping that they're going to bounce back. This here's a bunch of 2 rows of tomatoes. They're still hanging on, so I think yesterday I gave them some compost tea. I made a compost tea out of rabbit manure. Hopefully they'll bounce back here. And then along the edge here, that's pumpkins I got growing. This stuff here is parsnip that was planted a couple times last year and last spring, and they didn't come up in last year, but they came up this year, which is kind of odd. There's a row of beets. So what I did is I raked off all the wood chips, got down to soil, and then I loosened the soil up, planted all my seeds, and then I sifted some of that soil and wood chips. So that's kind of like a layer of fine wood chips, quarter minus is the sift size that I used. And then all the bigger stuff I just threw off to the side. So once these plants get a little bit bigger, I'll just break the wood chips back to cover the soil up again and cap it to keep the moisture in and try to keep the weeds out. There's another row. I don't even know what I got grown in there. I got it written down somewhere. There's a partial row of arugula, and that was seeded from seed that I collected last year. There's some lettuce, partial row of lettuce, partial row of Swiss chard. There's some carrots that I planted, and they are carrots from last year. So those carrots I saved. I just want to make sure that the chickens don't get in here. So those carrots were saved from last year. I kept them in a Rubbermaid tote in my basement garage where I keep my potatoes and carrots. And so the big ones that were on the bottom, they were all starting to send shoots and roots. So I planted them in the ground, and hopefully this year they'll flower because they're a biannual, and I'll collect some seeds from them. So I should get a good pile of seeds. I think I planted 6 carrots there. They're really good size. So here's 2 rows of spinach right here beside this wild apple tree. So this tree used to be on the fence line. This same deal. This was the end of the fenced-in garden. All of this was outside, and like I was saying on that other side, what I would do is plant potatoes or plant zucchini or tomatoes, stuff that the deer would not eat or want to eat or attack. So now I got a couple rows of carrots planted here. The carrots were starting to sprout out and do pretty good, but I had a chicken that snuck in underneath the fence line, and they just came and started digging around, and they didn't bother the carrots, but what they did is they threw a bunch of bark mulch all over them, and they're starting to poke through there. It's a little slow. Hopefully they'll make it. And then here I got 2 rows of peas. Anyhow, I'll head out. I just don't want the chickens to get in here. So I think today's June 11th or 12th. It's probably the 12th. And we did have a couple of frosts again here in June. which kind of sucks. I have potatoes planted on this end also. Same deal, I just put the wood chips right on top of the weeds and had potatoes laying on there, and I got to do a little weeding here. These were planted a couple weeks later than the first batch of potatoes. Anyhow, these guys are running around. There's the babies coming up. Usually when I whistle like that, they think I'm going to feed them. Suckers. Anyhow, down here is where like the groats. This is after half a day or so of them eating. I just moved them a little while ago. So there's 6 in here, 4 white ones. I'm going to double check now that they're getting a little bit older. If one of those white ones is a male, I'll keep him to replace that big brown one I showed earlier in the video. This little light colored butterscotched one, or I call it curry, because I think that's a female. I'm going to confirm that. If it is, I'll keep her as a breed, one to breed. That dark one I probably won't, because I have a male that looks just like that, and he's a male. Yeah, so I may keep 2 of these, possibly, and I'll butcher the other ones. Anyhow, they're getting bigger. Slaughter date for them is around July 26th. So these guys just follow after I move the chicken tractor, or the rabbit tractor, actually. Anyhow, usually pick through all that kind of stuff and rip it up, tear it up. Babies. Down here at my lower pond, it's all full of leaves and pollen. We just going through a good little windstorm right now. I think we got a rain event coming. So down here, a few days ago I planted 3 Japanese walnuts. Seem to be doing pretty good. I got them from a guy. I bought some from him last year, a dozen from him last year, and I put them up on the woodlot. And I think these are probably 2 years old. These were left over that he had, that he didn't sell from last year. So they seem to be doing okay, nice and straight. There's an apple tree. I have, I think 6 apple trees planted along the bank for now. There's another apple tree right there. So this is kind of like a lower area I got down here. So I'm probably gonna move the rabbit tractor all down through here, and in a few days I have 10 meat kings, and then a month later I have another 10 meat kings coming. So I'll be running, and then those other 6 rabbits will be ready to go out. So I'll have 4 tractors probably on the go, 2 rabbits, and 2 sets of meat kings. So it'll be a little busy. There's a big pot there that I have some sunflowers starting. I have to cage them. I have another one over there, sunflowers growing in it. Kind of a pain in the butt with the chickens in a way, because they just scratch everything. And yeah, I'm gonna try to work with them. It's just like a flower bed. Got it all mulched, but you can tell the chickens have been in there tearing apart. They don't seem to be bothering the plants too bad. Anyhow, here's another spot. This is all strawberries, like a strawberry patch. They're a little slow coming up, but I fenced this off because obviously I didn't want the chickens in there. They were ripping and tearing and scratching. This is that upper garden, water garden. I did a video earlier cleaning it up and damming it up and stuff. It's a little bit of a waterfall feature right there. Got some plants and vegetation growing. Usually by the fall you can't even see the water. It just totally fills right in with lily pads and plants and flowers, and which is kind of good in a way and bad, but anyway, that's the deal there. This is that other garden feature I have. I see the chickens were up there too. This used to be grass, and I was saying in another video, and it was really a pain in the butt. And anyhow, I covered it all up with wood chips. This is the second year for it. Seems to be doing all right. And then up there, that's where my pile of wood chips is. They've been coming and dumping. That's a pretty good sized pile right now. So usually I take the tractor. They just dumped 2 loads today, so I usually go and push them up with the tractor and with the front bucket to give them lots of room, so when they come they can, it's all open for them, they'll keep coming. So what I'll do is I think I'm going to take a load up to the woodlot so I can mulch all around my apple orchard, all the trees and stuff that I got planted up there. Here's another kind of garden I got. I just mulched that this year. I got to go through and weed it. Here's 2 apple trees that I planted this year. I forget the brand, but they're actually they're not dwarf ones. These are going to grow really big, so I kind of like that, because eventually that's a vacant lot right now and someone's going to build there someday. So that's why I planted this row of, I don't know, chicken going crazy there. That's why I planted that row of pine trees on the edge, which kind of gives me a little bit of privacy. Anyhow, like I was saying before, I'm in a subdivision here, so I mean there's a couple houses over there on that side of the street. There's one on that side of the street, and then that's my house, and then on the very back side, that's where it kind of drops off, and I have all the animals and stuff kind of tucked away down there. This is the edge of my property right here. So this is the pine trees that I got planted. I got to go through here and mow. I got a retaining wall that I put in. I had some kind of nice stepped over garden beds, and the rose bushes took right over. I got a couple old wagon wheels. You can't even see them now. There's 2 of them, like, oh yeah, one down here. Anyhow, I got to go through and thin that out. Anyhow, this is all old concrete sidewalks that the municipality dumped here, and I just reclaimed them all and stacked them all up. Planted some I got some flower beds and gardens in here. Got to do some weeding. The earlier video, this was all overtaken and wasn't cleaned up for quite a while. I did mulch it. It was looking pretty good. But I do have to go through and do a little weeding. A couple minutes, that'll clean up. There's a set of stairs made up of concrete sidewalks. That's a big cherry tree. Then another garden in here. And then that's my lower pond. Right back to where the chickens and rabbits are. A lot of deer tracks in through here. Might be kind of hard to see, but I should clear that out. But I got three retaining walls. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 4 of them on the edge of that pond. Kind of hard to see right now with everything kind of grown up. These turkeys. Anyhow, that's it for now. Just a quick little update, little garden tour. If you think of it, like, share, subscribe, comment. That's the end there, eh?